Hey, I'm Jay from the Kubz. Welcome back to another episode of me reacting to scary animations and us just having a good time and vibing and chilling and all that stuff. I know you guys love this series. I love it too. We are going to check out videos from Wansee Entertainment again. I will leave the link to their channel in the description box below so you can check out their full library of videos. But I know you guys are excited for this. I am too, so no more talking. We're just going to jump right into it. If you guys cool with that, you're down with that. Everybody get ready and buckle up, because here we go. First video of today's episode is called True Crazy Old Guy Horror Story. I know crazy people. I know old people. I know guys. Put all three of them together, whew. That gave me the chills that kill.
When I was 7 or 8 years old, my parents used to take me to this beach cafe in our town.
Wow. When I was 7 or 8 years old, I used to get spanked with a belt.
It had a pool and the cafe was right next to the beach. The family that owned the cafe were my family's close friends, so I spent a lot of my childhood there. The best part about the beach is that when you pass the cafe and the playground, there was a lot of sand and a net for volleyball.
No shit! You're at a freaking beach! Of course there's gonna be sand! Come on, you 7 or 8 year old idiot!
As kids, my friends and I would always play there. One ordinary summer night, there was quite a few of us playing in the sand, making castles and doing other things. All of a sudden, I heard a noise behind me in the bushes, right where the sand ended. I should mention that there were woods around the whole place, but it wasn't deep or anything. I was a brave kid, so I just brushed it off as being a cat or animal of some sort.
What is that cat doing back there? That cat's tail was wiggling awfully hard.
And continued to play. However, when I looked up at my friends, who were now quiet and staying still, I got the chills. I noticed that all of their eyes had widened. They were staring at me, or rather at whatever was behind me. The shock kicked in, and I felt like I was going to faint.
What kind of drugs are these kids on? This is some new age crack. They're shaking like crazy.
Started shaking. I didn't even want to turn around.
Naifu.
But when I felt something cold on the back of my neck,
that was
the last straw. I started running full speed towards the cafe filled with people, and my friends immediately followed behind me. There were 6 children crying and screaming at the top of our lungs.
Little bitch.
I remember finally clinging to my mom and crying in her arms.
Looks like
Soon after, the sound of sirens followed by police cars parked in front filled the air. When the adults talked to the police, my friends and I were confused. I still didn't know what was behind me, so I asked my oldest friend in the group, who was 10 years old, and...
That kid's 10 years old? What? Can I get an ID check? That's a 10-year-old kid?
Talking to his dad.
Oh, okay, talking to his dad, alright.
There was this crazy old guy who robbed a lady and stabbed her to death not so far away from here. My friends told me he appeared behind me smiling like a sick clown. He was holding a knife and pressing it against the back of my neck. That must have been the cold thing I felt. From then on, I never stayed far away from the cafe when the sun went down. And thankfully, they caught the guy.
Oh, thankfully. Round of applause for that, thankfully. Crazy ass old man. Okay, so that was a true crazy old guy horror story. It was okay. It was a little warm up, but let's get into the juicier videos. Next video of today's episode is called I Almost Got Kidnapped by Strangers with Using Online Transaction. Ooh.
I'm 24, and this happened 5 years ago when I was 19. I was conducting an online transaction on a site called Alks, which is similar to Craigslist. It's an online app where you can see items being sold by random strangers.
I've never heard of that app before.
All you have to do is make a call and meet up. I was looking for a cheap sweater for my trip to Japan the following week. After several minutes of scrolling, I came across an ad with exactly what I was looking for.
Suga!
A Korean-style female fur sweater for just 300 pesos, about $6.
Oh, nice. So what, that's in the Philippines or Mexico or what?
The meetup point was at the LRT train station
I want to buy
at 8
the
p.m.
sweater.
because the seller was too busy at work. I decided, what the heck, it's a public place anyway. I called the owner and we had a quick convo. He sounded like a strict guy, but I asked him when we could meet up.
Wait, red flag already. What is that guy doing with a female Korean sweater for 300 pesos? Like, that should already raise your eyebrows and the hairs on the back of your neck.
He responded, tonight at 8 p.m. sharp.
Yep, second red flag. Tonight at 8 p.m. sharp. I've done transactions online through Craigslist before. Never meet at night. Never meet at night when the sun is going down, because then you can't see. You're always like, damn, Is that guy holding a gun or a knife? Like, you gotta just do it in broad daylight. All you young whippersnappers out there, trust your old pal Jay. If you do any online transactions and you end up meeting in person, always do it in public and always do it during the day.
I said sure. But this recklessness of mine is what I regret the most.
Yeah.
I arrived at the meeting place at 7:58 p.m. It was really empty.
Why
and I
would
was
you
sure I
meet
was
in
the
a
only
freaking
person
train
in the
station
station. It was a cold night
the hell
in
is
November.
wrong with you?
And I eagerly awaited warming myself with my coat.
The sweater probably wasn't even that
Honestly,
nice.
I'm the kind of girl who's comfortable wearing a sweater even when it's hot. I was sitting on a bench when the clock ticked 8 o'clock, when suddenly someone covered half of my face with a scarf.
Ooh!
A strange scent. I fell unconscious. As I woke
Just
up,
like that, 8 p.m.
I found
sharp?
myself in a van with 4 guys, my wrists handcuffed behind my back. I asked the man what they wanted and to please let me go. Tears began to fall from my eyes. But then, one of the guys touched my face and said, "It's our first time ever tasting a beautiful girl like you."
Wait, did he say testing or tasting? Either way, that is super, super creepy.
I kept on crying and shouted, "Please, I want to go home, please." The guy next to me choked me, shouting that I needed to shut up. I tried to resist, but my eyes started to roll back in my head. He stopped, but it was taking a long time for me to
What the hell's
catch
up with
my
that guy's
breath.
face?
I looked out the window and saw a checkpoint lane. For the first time in my life, I was
Scream,
so
scream,
glad
scream.
that the authorities had permission to check the van. But the guy next to me reached for a gun. A really big gun.
That's a huge bitch.
What is he doing with a gun that damn big? Oh my god, that thing is longer than life itself. You guys see how long that? What the? What? We one-handed that too. Gonna duke the checkpoint officer. My mind is a-blowing right now.
Knowing this was my only chance, I found the strength to shout and cried out, "Officer, please help! They have a gun!" The 2 officers immediately grabbed their guns, one shooting at the tires, the other
Nice.
aiming for the man next to me. The officer shot him in the head.
Oh!
I never thought I'd witness such a thing in my life. One of the officers carried me out of the van, and I passed out moments later.
Wait, that guy shot that fool right in the brain? No explanation needed?
I woke up the next day in a hospital bed. My parents were there, crying and asking me what happened. I told them the truth, that I was buying a sweater online. But I suddenly snapped. I cried and cried, saying, "Please help, please help." Since then, I've had to go to a psychiatrist to recover from mental instability and anxiety. And it should go without saying, but I never ever want to buy anything online, ever again.
Good. Wow, that just took like a sharp turn, and then another turn, and then a winding road, and then a loop-de-loop, and then BAM! Gunshot right in that fool's brain. That thing was wild. Next video of today's episode is called Creepy Old Lady Stalker. Now, old ladies are already creepy enough, but old lady stalkers? Whew. That's creepy. Alright guys, we have to pause the video real quick because my dog is shaking like crazy because he hears fireworks outside. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, look how bad he's shaking, guys. Oh, it's okay. It's okay, my baby. Sorry. Yeah, there's fireworks outside because there's a football game going on. I know. Alright, boys and girls, he should be okay now. Let's check out Creepy Old Lady Stalker.
This happened a little over 20 years ago. I was 10 years old and my sister was 6. We grew up in a small town, raised only by our hardworking mother. It started when school was nearly finished for the year. The nights were late because my sister was up all night crying about a witch.
I like the animation in this video.
Anyway, my mother started receiving odd calls once in a while at work.
I need one of your children.
I need one of your children?
Mom figures it was some stupid prank and ignored it. But then she started receiving calls daily. Eventually, she was receiving a call most nights at our
Alright, get
home.
the strap.
She reported it to the police, and they said whoever was calling was using random payphones. There wasn't much they could do about it. so she had both her work and home number changed. One night around 10 or so, there was a frantic knock on our door. Mom looked out through the window and saw a lady with long hair in her 60s.
Old ass bitch!
Not knowing her, Mom went near the locked door and asked what she wanted. The lady asked if she could come inside because she was in a car accident.
No.
Mom said she would call the police for her.
Get the
and told her
RPG.
to wait
Get the
outside.
bazooka.
There was a pause.
No, don't call the cops.
You couldn't do a better old lady voice than that? Really? I'd do that, man. Don't call the cops.
Mom thought this was strange and started walking to the phone. Immediately again, a banging on the door. Mom ran to the phone and looked out the window to see the lady staring at her.
Oh!
She coldly said,
Dorothy Margaret, I want one of your children.
No!
Dorothy Margaret, I want one of your children.
repeating it until Mom noticed flashing lights of police approaching, and she left. The police searched everywhere.
That is disturbing.
Kept a car outside each night for a week. Nothing. A few weeks later, summer finally started and my sister wasn't having the nightmares anymore about the witch.
Her peeking through the window gave me the chills.
We were at one of my baseball games and my mother was talking to a teacher at my sister's school and telling her what happened. The teacher said,
Oh, it sounds like your stepmother.
Mom looked back confused and said she doesn't have a stepmother. The teacher's face turned white. A while ago, a lady in her 60s would come watch the children play at lunch. She said she was my mother's stepmom and liked to watch my sister at lunch.
This is actually super creepy, guys.
She reported it again to the police and they checked camera footage. Sure enough, on a faraway park bench, there was an old lady most lunchtimes. They noticed she was always coming from the woods, so the police did a search and found an old shanty shack type of place. It had old blankets and a fire pit, and it had pictures she had drawn of us. That was the last time we ever heard of her.
Wait, she wasn't in there?
When summer was ending, my sister started having the nightmares of the witch again. Mom asked why she was getting scared again, and she said,
Because she comes to school and watches us.
The witch was the old lady.
Oh my god. Oh, I wish I could show you guys like the goosebumps. I have a long sleeve on. But man, like you can see the shits. Can you even see the shits? You can't see the shits, but like I have goosebumps all over my pale ass milky skin arms. Next video of today's episode is called Do Not Answer the People That You Don't Know. That should be obvious.
About 10 years ago when I was 12, I would always go into the nearby woods with my friends for most of the day. One night, we left pretty late. Usually I got home before dark, but today, I knew I wouldn't make it back and I already knew my parents would be mad at me. We were walking in a group for a few blocks. Then a couple of my friends split from us to go to their house.
Why does everybody in this friend group look weird as shit? Like, this girl got doo-doo green hair with asshole mold pigtails. Guy on the right looked like a freaking Teletubby with dark green hair and a bowl cut. The two on the left look nothing like the other two on the right. Man, I don't know what's happening right now.
I started to notice that a van kept driving past us. I didn't think anything of it. And then my last friend split to go to her house.
Later, dude.
I had about 5 to 10 minutes left until mine. Then I see that van again, and it pulled up right beside me and stopped. The driver rolled down the front window. Then she told me that she can't find her son and she's been looking all evening. And she asked me if I seen him. I looked and I said no. Then she asked me if I wanted to get in her van to help find him. I said no again, and I looked forward. Then she asked me, am I sure? I didn't answer and I started to walk faster. Then all of a sudden there was some guy in her back seat that said, Let's just fucking snatch her.
Oh, God!
I looked at the van
Run!
for a second as the woman looked in the back seat and she sped up to park on the side.
Oh!
I heard the door
Oh, God, that is actually scary as hell!
I didn't look back until
Go,
I got
go,
home.
just...
Nobody followed me. I told my parents and we called the cops. I never missed curfew after that.
Oh, that's it? Dude, that got hella interesting. Right here. This part right here got so interesting.
Then all of
when
a
that
sudden,
bass
there
kicked
was
in,
some guy
I
in
felt
her
that
backseat
deep in my
said,
soul.
Let's just fucking snatch her.
Whoa!
I looked at the van. As the woman looked in the back seat.
Oh my God, this dude looks like an alien too. What kind of ears are those? Last video of today's episode is called I Met a Terrible Creep at a McDonald's Restroom. Hopefully this one's super creepy.
At a McDonald's restaurant.
That's what I said.
I was running errands with my husband one day when I was 6 months pregnant. The day started out normal as we took the subway together. All of a sudden, I felt nauseous and I could feel that I had to vomit immediately. I quickly gave my bag to my husband and told him I had to run to the nearest bathroom. I bolted away at the next stop as I could not hold it in any longer.
And she left her husband in the train?
As I exited the underground, I ran into the nearest restaurant, a McDonald's. I hurried to the bathroom, where I passed a middle-aged man who was standing at the entrance of the bathroom.
Ugh.
I paid no attention and pushed past him to get in. As I finally arrived to the bathroom, I immediately started puking. I never felt so sick my entire life. That's when the door handle of the bathroom started moving. I quickly pushed the door to keep it closed and yelled that it was busy, but the person on the other side pushed back.
Wow.
As that person managed to push harder, I saw the guy that was at the entrance. He had curly hair. I freaked out and slammed the door shut and started yelling for help. The man was insistent and kept trying to get in. I started puking again, so I was left with trying to hold the door with my foot as he kept banging it harder and harder.
She should have, like, did that donkey kick thing where she's, like, on all fours with one leg back pressed against the door and then threw open the toilet, like, blah, because she had to puke again. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm trying to be efficient.
In the direction of the window of the stall as I heard people saying that there was a girl who needed help. Suddenly, the guy stopped banging the door and everything got quiet. I tried to calm myself down while still holding the door shut just in case.
Poor girl.
Then I saw curly hair and a hand trying to get me from under the door, which had a
Look at his lips! Why?
I started screaming again as I started kicking his face.
And he's still licking his lips.
At this point, I was desperate. I had no phone, no bag, and my husband was probably roaming the city looking for me.
Yeah.
Then I heard a man yell, and the creep suddenly getting away quickly. I kept the door shut when I heard a male voice telling me to come out and that it was okay. I reluctantly opened the door to find the manager of the McDonald's confused and shocked. I told him what happened and he called the police. With all the commotion, my husband finally found me. When the police arrived, I gave the police a description, but they never found the guy.
Super creepy. Alright guys, but that's gonna do it for this episode of Scary Animations. If you guys want to see more of this series, make sure you guys give this video one big fat like. And tell a friend today that Jay from the Kubz Scouts is that dude!